I started Facebook group, so we'll start in a couple minutes.
I
This is
just
Kate.
went live here so we could try to get
This
some
is my
people
wife,
on.
Sandy.
Hi, nice
She's
to
a children's
meet
book
you.
author.
Oh, nice to
And
meet you.
your name is Bridget?
Bridget.
This is Bridget.
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you too.
And we're gonna just explode this. So.
Yeah, good, you know.
And I thank them for coming out because Kate, I told Kate she was amazing, right? You heard her on Monday night, right?
Yes, yeah.
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 I love your drive.
Just logging in to get some people online here.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Uh-huh.
Well, we're on Facebook already.
We're catching
so
up with the.
You can sit over
radio
there, Sandy,
first
if you
here.
want, and if you have any questions.
Okay, sure. Yeah, let me,
Okay, I gotta share it with like tons of people here.
Yes, our public page.
Hello, everybody. We're going to start in just a few minutes. Just hang in there. I just want to get everybody on Facebook first. And we should be live. Okay. I'm going to, sometimes you do a watch party, sometimes you don't.
Oh, I don't know. I'll let everyone else do it.
I have to share it with everybody. Hold on. Give me a second, people. Oh, well, let me share. Let me go get the copy of the URL. By the way, everybody, I'm Doc G. I'm the owner of the Hamilton Radio, 28 years here in Hamilton. Originally it was called Sunny Radio. And I knew it had bigger purposes back then. That's why I kept it. And my girls made me keep it for a long time. So we have some amazing stuff we're going to talk about tonight. And you're really going to get educated. You're going to understand a lot of things that we're talking about, and some you're not. And you can call in. We'll have a call-in number for you very soon. And we're going to have these lovely ladies next to me here talk about the bill and what we're trying to do. Let me just get this to the people I need to real quick, guys. Let me see. I have a fellow co-host or friend, Jerry Petito from the Jerry Petito Show. She wants to call in and get involved because I know she is really affected by this a lot. So I really feel bad for her with things going on. I'm trying to find her right now. I'm just going to share it with her, put it on her page. I'll put it on my daughter, DJ Danny's page. DJ Danny is a young girl that thinks the way her dad does. She sees that overreaching of the government is wrong. And even if some of her friends believe that, she won't allow them to influence her in any way. So guys, we're ready to start in just a couple minutes. Let me get it to another person here. I think we're ready to start anytime. Well, we're on Facebook, so you can start us on the radio thing anytime. I'm trying to put us on the DJ Danny page. Hold on us, guys. We're going to take your calls in a little bit. We're going to go over a little bit about it. I'm going to introduce the show, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about what's going on. Ruben is also a film producer, and we do documentaries and everything here. Just do all kinds of stuff. Let's see. I want to thank my buddy Rob Scribner in Arizona for Good Talk Radio for allowing us to have a little couple minutes
My
earlier
name is
today.
Love Jada Thornton, and I'm 6 years old, and I'm a diamond, and Sensible Woman Initiative.
Okay.
And we shine.
Okay, I love kids, guys. I love
My
kids.
name is
but-
Daisy Young. I'm 6 years old, and I'm a diamond. And
Okay, maybe that was meant to be. You never know, right?
Everything happens for a reason.
Well, it's 7 o'clock, guys, and we're going to start. And if you're ready, Kate, we can start as soon as you're ready. Or would you like to start?
Why doesn't Bridget start this time?
Whatever you like.
All right, here's what we'll do. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Doc G. I'm the owner of Hamilton Radio. Hamilton Radio is a community organization that was formed by me 28 years ago. And if you don't wow with that, that's fine, but it's okay. I kept it going all this time, and we have a beautiful studio now. We're doing more things for the community, working with autism and charities and companies and military and everybody. So I want to welcome Bridget
Hello. Thank you for having me.
and Kate.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So let's talk about why we're here. That's the original information about this bill
Right.
that is going to be voted on another tomorrow in another event that shouldn't be. But it's come to us that if we don't vote on it, if we don't go there and protest it, the vote's going to go through. Right? That's what we know, right?
We don't know. The bill is right now, it's not on the schedule, but however, they could add it at any point while they're on the floor. So
You think you're going to sneak it in?
we don't know.
No,
we don't
It's not really
know.
sneaking it in. It's that
Right,
they're-
it's illegal.
They can do that.
Right.
They on January 16th they were adding bills as late as 5 o'clock. Bills that weren't on the agenda
Right,
previously. So
right.
they can do that.
Right.
It's
Depending
not-
on how they get the bill
because
done
they're-
really quick. And
they're
then, right.
already
Right.
set to meet, so they can just put the bill up. So we need to proceed as if the bill's
Yes.
up.
Right. Understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
And that's how
And
the
we need
9th
to
and
keep
the
the
13th
pressure on,
yeah.
and we need to let them know that we're determined and we're not going away, and we don't
Oh, we're
agree
not.
with this, and we won't back down.
We
and
are
we
not
will not
going away.
comply.
We are not going away. So tell me a little bit about why. Let's do this. Tell me a little bit about why you're here and why you got involved. And that'll give us a little bit of a
Sure,
story
sure.
on what you're here for.
I have two children. My youngest daughter, I blindly listened to my doctors. I did whatever they told me to do. You know, I was a good little Catholic schoolgirl. I obeyed
we've all
my
done that.
elders.
As parents, we've all done that.
And my daughter is vaccine injured. I started seeing reactions immediate with her.
Mm-hmm.
She, in the hospital when she was born, she got everything every other newborn gets. She got the hepatitis B vaccine. I took her to her first doctor's appointment 6 days later, and my husband was with me. And the nurse said she's due for hepatitis B. And I said, well, no, she had that in the hospital. I don't think she needs that again. I didn't know I needed to bring doctor records. I didn't need that with my oldest. Let me get the hospital records.
Right.
And she said, it doesn't matter. It'll be fine. And it was just done, just like that. And I remember
She gave the
sitting there with my husband thinking, I hope she's right. I hope that doesn't hurt, because now she's had 2 hepatitis B vaccines within 6 days. And I was also pressured into getting a flu shot while I was pregnant, because I had just lost 2 babies in a miscarriage.
Oh,
and they
sorry.
told me that I needed to get a flu shot so I didn't have a miscarriage. So I think my daughter was hit hard from the beginning, but she was doing good. She was
Right.
hitting her milestones. She's such a happy little girl. She was doing great. Now, when I say she was hitting her milestones, she would get there by the end of the date they told you. You know, if she's not doing it by this month, then we'll worry, and she would get there. So every time she had a vaccine, start with the hepatitis, then 2, 4, and 6, the DTaP vaccine, she would get bad reactions. Her leg would swell up from her thigh to her toes. It would be bright red. It would be hot to the touch. And she would scream that god-awful encephalopathy cry for hours upon hours upon hours. When she got her first DTaP vaccine, my oldest daughter, I was at Children's Hospital getting her leg casted. And my husband had to take her. You know, I was one of those. I made my appointment to go back in. The next day, the next appointment was made before I left that office, because this was what I was told I was supposed to do to keep my daughter safe. So my husband called me from Children's Hospital, and he was like, I can't control her. I was at Children's Hospital, sorry. He called me and said, you never schedule these shots again when you're not here. Like, this child, I can't calm her down. So I called my mom, who's one of 11. She loves babies. She's like the baby whisperer. She can always calm down babies. And my mom said, Bridget, I've never in my life seen a child act like this, especially after vaccines. And she was like, there was nothing at all I could do to control her. I couldn't calm her down no matter how many rocking and cuddling her and feeding her and changing her. Nothing would work. She just cried, this god-awful cried. And my mother had never heard, being the second oldest of 11 children. So my mom said she actually had a sample of preparation H that somebody gave her, one of the doctors, and she put that on my daughter's leg, and I guess the coolness calmed down how she was feeling, and she fell asleep because she was exhausted from crying.
Right.
And that proceeded to happen 2, 4, 6. Now my daughter, like I said, she was at the end of where the time frame was for her milestones, but she was doing it, except for she didn't crawl. She skipped crawling. And back then, I was like, well, isn't she so cute? She's so smart. She skipped crawling. She's knee walking. Oh, that's so smart. But guess what? It's not, because she has a motor planning delay. And she can't use her arms and her legs together. She still has that problem, okay? She can't ride a bike. She's 13 years old. She can't ride a bike. She can't ride a bike we have with 3 wheels. She can't ride an exercise bike. It's that concept of doing that, working together. She can't do it. We were working on it, but she's still affected by this. Now, it was when it was time to give her the MMR vaccine, I decided
Okay.
that...
We have a phone call, but hold on, caller. Just give me 1 second. Finish your thing, and then we'll get to the phone call.
Okay. I decided to, at 15 months, just tell him that I was going to delay the MMR vaccine because she just started walking at 15 months. And I heard some things, and I said, I just want to hold off. Now, mind you, I still did the other vaccines. I couldn't believe how they were treating me. And I was like, I'm just delaying it, and I'm still doing other ones. So that kind of opened my eyes. I did go back and give her a chickenpox vaccine, and she got chickenpox on her leg. So then I stopped vaccinating her. But what's important for people to know is that I believed so much in the vaccines that I continued to vaccinate my oldest daughter. She's completely vaccinated. I didn't know. I thought my one daughter couldn't handle
Right,
it.
right.
So then I find out when I go into my research what's in the vaccines.
Right.
And it doesn't matter to me what the Catholic Church says. I went to 12 years of Catholic school. I know what I was taught, and I know what my morals are.
Right.
If they say it's okay to get vaccines, well, I disagree, and that's between me and God. And
Beautiful.
I will not consent to put in aborted fetal cells
Beautiful.
or animal DNA into my child ever
Beautiful.
again.
Beautiful. See,
So-
so what I want to say is before the caller, you're not a bad parent. All right. You did everything that you thought was right for your child. And that's what me and my wife done the same thing.
Yep.
So believe me, there's millions of people that understand that and are with you. So don't feel bad that what happened, because it did happen. Now we take it to the next level and try to stop other people from going through
Right.
what you're going through and what other people are going through.
Well, a perfect
So-
analogy, what people say with that is if your child was running in the middle of the street, I would tell you the same thing.
It's the same thing,
Same
right,
thing.
right.
We're just trying to warn you because we don't want you to go through
Right.
what we went through.
So let me, Kate, before you talk, let me get this caller real quick. Go ahead, caller. You can tell us who you are and where you're from.
Hey guys, it's Jerry Petito from the Jerry Petito Show.
Hi, Jerry.
Hey. So, yeah, I just wanted to call in and just give some feedback and say hello to your guests. And this is awesome, what's happening here. They don't really know my background. I'm a radio show host as well, guys. And I actually got Doc G involved in all this. We will be there tomorrow in Trenton. Me and my daughter, Tiffany
Awesome.
Shimko, she should be calling in as well. We
Tiffany's
were there
amazing.
with Kennedy over the summer, and she was there last month.
Oh.
She got in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank
Um,
you.
I wanted to just share something with you guys. My grandson, her son is 18. My granddaughter, her daughter is 4. I am a nutritional health coach. I cured myself of 2 cancers almost 30 years ago. And now I'm an author on addiction and a health coach. Well, I was the one who said we're not vaccinating my grandson. So I actually got a lawyer back then and paid for papers and all that to get him through grad school. Well, thank God he's graduated high school. And right now, for the moment, we're safe. My granddaughter is 4, has never been vaccinated.
That's
So
wonderful.
people need to understand one thing here, and this is vital for everyone out there listening. What's happening tomorrow in Trenton is so much bigger than just a vaccine. It is so much bigger. It is our religious rights, our religious freedom. The Constitution is being broken.
Yep.
So everyone out there needs to understand this. So I'm just pleading with everyone and anyone. I don't care if you have to take off, call out sick, because We're there fighting for you guys. We had 7,000 people last month there. We need 14,000 this time.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, we're fighting for you guys as well.
That's right.
So please listen to this show. Listen to these ladies. Listen to Doc G. Okay? I'm just pleading with everyone to understand
Right.
this is so much bigger than just the vaccine, everybody. All right? So, ladies, I love you. I'm sorry you had to go through what you went through
Thank
before
you.
you got to this point, and I'm going to continue to listen. God bless all of you.
Stop,
Thank
stop
you.
by
God bless you.
the comfort station tomorrow. Stop by, and I'd like to shake your hand. Come see me.
I will not tomorrow. I'll be there since 7 in the morning. We're getting there at like 7 in the morning. Wait, the comfort station?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's me.
yes, absolutely. Okay.
I got the permits
I
for
will
it,
do
and
that.
we'll talk about that in the show as we
Okay,
go
yeah,
along.
no, that's good. That's where people
So
can,
no, stop by the
warm
comfort
up and
station
stuff,
tomorrow.
yeah.
I'll be there all day. The
Well,
Alliance
I'd
is
rather
there all
get a
day.
hug. I'll hug you.
Yeah,
okay?
oh,
I'm
I would love
Italian.
it. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Thank you,
Thank
Jerry.
you.
Thank you, caller. Yeah, and here's the thing,
welcome.
before we actually start, I want people to know that, again, this is very far-reaching, but we want people to come together, right, Sandy? From not only New Jersey, we want people to come from New York, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Delaware, anywhere you can come from, even if you have to travel many, many miles. This is so well worth it. Because if you defeat this bill for us here in New Jersey, we're going to do the same for you in your state. Because it's coming. It's going to come. And, we'll push it off for a little while, and it'll end up somewhere else. But the point is, we have to stop this. I can't implement it enough. I can't say it enough. We have to stop this bill. And I'm going to introduce Kate right now. And Kate is the one with the comfort station, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
tell us about you and how you got involved in this, and then we'll get into all the other stuff.
Okay.
I got involved years ago. I guess I was just in the fight. I was online and battling, making sure people put the right information online. I was on different websites and Facebook groups, just trying to make sure that the correct information got out there for quite a long time. And so I learned a lot about our system, learned a lot about vaccines, learned a lot about a variety of topics. So last year, a year and a half ago, Bridget approached and said, hey, I want to start the New Jersey Medical Freedom Alliance. I'm leaving my old group. Let's start this group. We need to do this. We've got our sister groups backing us. We're going to do this. And it was great. So we have a great approach on how to reach the legislators, and I'd love to talk about that. But right now we can't because we're in an emergency situation.
Yeah.
And we
Oh,
can't,
it is.
We
It's-
can't
it's a
do
dire
we can't do all of the
situation. It
things
really
that we
is,
want to
yeah.
do because we're it's go day, as
Yeah.
people have
Tomorrow,
been saying.
bright and early.
So basically, as it stands right now, for those that don't know, I'll do a quick overview of the legislative process. So you have the Assembly and the Senate, and bills can be proposed to both. So those bills need to pass out of, first, a committee that says, yes, you can go to the full Assembly or go to the full Senate. Then those bills go out of committee, go to the Senate, go to the Assembly. When they go to full Senate, full Assembly, those bills, when voted out, have to match. At that point, it can go to the governor's desk to be signed. Typically, bills match. In our current situation, they do not. So, 3818, A3818 is the bill for the Assembly that passed out of Assembly on December 16th.
So it's halfway there, is what you're saying. Sort of.
Yes, Sort of. No. Well, kind of. Because its sister bill in the Senate, it's not the same. S2173. That's what we're all talking about, and that's what everyone's been talking about for weeks
Right.
now. Even though A3818 went through Assembly in December, we battled A3818 for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
We all
there.
went
See-
there. Senate Health Committee.
Hold on.
Or the Assembly
That's
Health Committee.
something that's sad, isn't it? Because here we are, a radio station in New Jersey, and we know nothing or heard nothing in the last 2 years about that. Now, what does that tell you?
Yeah, that is sad.
The media doesn't want to cover
Oh,
it.
they absolutely don't. No.
So
They only want to cover the outbreaks, alleged outbreaks.
yeah, and that's another whole nother
Yeah.
show. But the thing is, if you're found out this information, and you go reach out to somebody and they'll say, "Well, we don't know nothing about it."
Right.
That doesn't give us the right to be ignorant about it. We should know more about it so we can help you fight it if it's something that we agree on. But if nobody knows about it, how can you fight about it? So that's my point. So getting this information out there is so vital for bills like this
It sure
because everybody needs to know
Yeah, they
what's going on in their state. And I don't want to hold you up.
that's fine.
But the point is, that's why this station is here, to do stuff like this, to get this information out. And that's why you ladies are here, because nobody would know about any of this.
Right.
So I applaud you for that. Now get back to what you were saying.
Okay, so
Sorry,
so
Esther.
then we go to the assembly that's voted out 3818. They
Right.
did it on the same day that the
Right.
Senate was meeting. So typically, what happens is that the Senate takes the assembly bill because it went out of assembly first, and they bring it to the Senate and they say, we're going to adopt this bill and we're going to vote on it, pass it, and it goes through. The problem is they changed S2173 was so different, and I think that there were changes made to that specifically to get more senators on board, that they couldn't just take 3818 because it was a completely different bill.
I understand that, yeah.
So
Appeal to everybody and then change as you go.
3818 is terrible as it is to remove the religious exemption. I would prefer that bill over 2173.
That's sad.
So
That is really sad.
I would
Because it's more far-reaching, right?
2170, we can go into
Yeah, no, go
specific
ahead.
spots about it, but 2173, as of right now, passed out of the Senate Health Committee,
Mm-hmm.
and it has the amendments that came with it out of Senate Health Committee, and it has not yet made it to the Senate floor. They did not put it up on the 16th. They did not have the votes to do so. Here we go now. So what's going to happen next? There are so many different scenarios on how this could play out, and we really just don't know. So what can happen? I can tell you that they could put it up on the 9th, S2173. It has to then go to the assembly. It has to, because it's not the same bill. Even if they take 3818 and make changes to 3818, it still has to go back to the assembly. So either way, both of these two days, the 9th and the 13th, are critical days, because if they put it up on the 9th, well, guess who has full chambers on the 13th? The assembly. So they're either going to
follow
try
you.
to do it the 9th and the 13th, or they're going to try to put it all through on one day. So those are the scenarios that we face. Either way, it has to go back to the assembly. And for this to happen, to get to the governor's desk, because of the changes. So the big thing that stands out to me in this 2173 is the information about the New Jersey Immunization Information System. Now, were you aware that that existed? It's a statewide database.
I did not know.
It started in 1998, and in 2004, they made it mandatory at birth. Everyone's enrolled.
There's probably a lot of citizens, New Jersey, that don't even know that. I mean, I didn't know that.
So
I'm not.
it's used for verifying religious exemptions, for example. So if you put your religious exemption on file at the school in the January of every year, the health department comes in and they audit and they want to know who's up to date, who's got their exemption, like give us all your paperwork, basically. So the nurse can go and verify, and access this database. So the scary part of this bill is, and I can put this online, maybe you can share the bill. I've got the copy here
Yeah,
that
sure.
electronically that we can share.
We'll figure
But
something out.
access to the information in the registry shall be limited to healthcare providers, schools, colleges, licensed child care centers, and public agencies and private organizations as determined by regulation of the commissioner. A registrant or the registrant's parent or legal guardian, if the registrant is a minor, shall have access to the registrant's immunization and other preventative health screening information in the registry. The information contained in the registry shall be used for purposes including, but not limited to, and I'm going to skip to number 3 that says, to help control communicable diseases by assisting in the identification of persons who require immediate immunization in the event of a vaccine-preventable disease outbreak. I'm going to read that again so that everybody understands this
That is
sentence.
very
Scary.
The New Jersey Immunization Information System can be used for 2. Help control communicable diseases by assisting in the identification of persons who require immediate immunization in the event of a vaccine preventable disease outbreak. Immediate immunization.
That's instant.
Immediate immunization. So, but there's no other information here. The who, the how, the why.
They leave it.
to
They
where.
leave
They
it
leave it
generic.
blank.
Yeah.
Because now it's left up for interpretation. Now it's left up to precedents. Now it's left up to what happened in the state of New York after they lost their religious exemption.
Slippery slope. Like I always tell you, people, it's a slippery slope. You can see it in other states.
Where are we here? I got one of these. The Vaccine Police, September 2019, that school security went door to door on the evening of September 19th, serving letters to 150 homes of unvaccinated children.
It's ridiculous.
They arrived in marked cars with yellow flashing lights, brightly shining in the night, were uniformed with yellow jackets and black polo t-shirts.
It's what it is.
It is. It's what exactly.
So
What it is.
it sets precedent. You know, this is because it's open to interpretation. So then we go to, okay, well, precedents have been set. Well, we have some terrible precedents that have already been set for us in the Supreme Court. And the first one was 1905, Jacobson versus Massachusetts. They upheld the authority of states to enforce compulsory vaccination laws. Basically, a police power of the state. People that are home can pull it up online and check out what it is. It's Jacobson versus Massachusetts, 1905, basically saying that they can force vaccinate. Then the second one, which doesn't help us with the school districts, was Zuck versus King in 1922. And it said that they could constitutionally exclude unvaccinated kids from attending school.
Hold on, we got another phone call here. Can you take that phone call, Ruben? HR2. Somebody out there take that phone call, please. Somebody take that phone call. Is there anybody out there? So I'm trying to run the show. I would.
You're usually out there.
You know how to take the call?
I feel like I'm on Jeopardy.
Just pick up the phone, guys. I apologize, people. There must be nobody here at staff. Hold on.
Whoever it was, you can call back. Do we have the number for people to?
Crystal's saying she sees it on our page, but not on that link.
What link? Oh,
guess
no,
the
it's
link here,
the link
maybe?
is just to tune in to the radio show.
Okay. She said it was all music.
If you, I don't know.
Okay. Sorry, people.
But
I
just-
apologize for everybody, guys. Our staff stepped out to the bathroom. And you can call back. The phone number, I'll give you the phone number real quick. 609-807-2492. You can call in 609-807-2492. And we'll let you ask your question if you have questions for these wonderful ladies here. And I got to tell you, Kate is a mom. Bridget is a mom. And they're both warrior moms. You know, they're fighting for their kids, they're fighting for their grandkids, they're fighting for everybody. This is nothing that we should take lightly, people. This is not a funny thing. This is not a, it'll go away, because it just gets bigger. It's like a snowball rolling down the hill. Go ahead, Kate.
No, I just wanted to, basically, of all of this, S2173, the immediate immunization opens the door for forced medical treatment.
Okay.
And it is, this bill also seeks to mark people for religious discrimination. That's basically what it's doing, because people that don't discriminate or don't vaccinate due to religious beliefs, they're now being targeted.
That's ridiculous.
So-
this is absolutely ridiculous.
Here we are in a country
Right.
that was founded
Diversity.
because of everybody leaving England, because of the religious persecution
Right.
they were dealing with over there. So we leave England and we come here and we start this country, and it's great, and we're going to have freedom. And now here we are, 220 something years later.
We kind of let everything go. I think my parents didn't know better, and they let governments, didn't really do anything. And other people, generation after generation after generation, history starts repeating itself. And here you see it. There's no other way to classify it other than history repeating itself if we let it happen.
Yeah.
But if we can stop it, and we can nip it in the bud, and we can make these people listen. Hey, come on, this happened once before, and then they're going to come for you next.
Exactly.
And that's very sad. You're going to have people leaving this state, guys, so quickly. Your head's going to spin. There's no way in the world you'll be able to do anything. No way in the world you can do anything in this state. Because it's just so crazy to think that something like this could happen. But as she read the bill, did that send chills down your spine? It sent chills down my spine. I'm just an average guy that was working 25 years and retired. But I have, 2 daughters. I fear for them. I fear for if they ever have kids, grandkids. I fear for generation after generation, if there is a generation after this. And I feel there's a bigger agenda going on here. That bigger agenda to me is what it called Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030 population thing. And there was a movie years ago, I don't know if you guys saw it, was called Contagion. And Contagion, I don't like movies like that because it scares me. But the movie was set, as far as I remember, and a lot of you people probably remember too, it was more set as people being sick and then going out and trying to find the sick people so they can vaccinate them. And if they decided to vaccinate them, because they got the contagion, it got more contagious. And as it just started developing the whole population. And then instead of putting them away or incubating them for a little while, they just killed them on site. They killed them on site. So a lot of the stuff that we see in the movies, the truth that comes through, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but your mind starts playing tricks on you. You start thinking, and a lot of this stuff, it's scary. It's very scary. And you guys all should be scared in every state, not just this state, in every state. We'll set a precedent probably tomorrow, one way or the other. And I hope that precedent is we had enough people, we stopped the vote, and, we'll go to the 13th. And then we'll stop the vote again. We're not going to let them stop this. This is so involved with money, cartels, pharmaceuticals, being lobbyists in the state, and many other ways. So, and a lot of my friends that are you in the FBI, the CIA, you still have kids here. You still have people here in this New Jersey state. So for you to sit there on your laurels and not let anything happen, let something happen, I pray for you. That's all I can do. But
Well, and that's exactly right. So
We gotta
it's
pray
not-
anyway, right?
So, well,
Always pray.
God, we need to pray.
Always pray.
So the 9th and the 13th, the protests that are going to happen, and the thousands of people that are going to descend on Trenton tomorrow morning.
I hope there's millions of people there. I really do.
It's going to be a sight.
I hope there's
It's gonna
30,
be fantastic.
40,000
There's gonna be a
people.
lot of people.
I hope there's more than we ever estimate.
Me too.
I agree. So we have 2,400 stickers to give out.
Okay.
And if we roll through those, we know we have more
Okay,
than that.
beautiful.
So what what tomorrow's going to do and what the 13th is going to do, I don't want to say it's not going to really make or break it, because what's happened over the last 2 years and all the relationships that the constituents have built with their senators and with their assembly people, that's really what's gotten us to this point of not
Exactly.
letting the bill go through. What we're ensuring is the fact that they hear us, because it's a
That they
lot.
have a reminder.
Yes.
We are your constituents.
yes.
You know, we've been there.
Good
we
point.
talked to you,
Good
and
point.
we're here. So you're not going to forget about us because we're not going away.
Good
We are
point.
outside yelling
In the
to
freezing cold.
remind you.
Kill the
that-
bill. I heard it. Kill the bill.
Kill the bill.
I was inside.
I loved it.
I was inside.
I loved every moment.
and
I
we
seen
were
them
yelling.
sweating. I loved it. I
We,
loved it.
I
Oh,
know,
yeah,
we were
Sweeney,
looking
it
through the
was-
door.
I loved it.
was yelling outside the Senate room, and they were yelling outside, and the whole place was echoing everywhere.
I loved
and
it.
we were communicating back and forth
loved
what
it.
to say to each other. It was surreal that to look out the window and see the mobs of people who were holding signs up
With their
were holding
kids and the
flags
families.
up.
Oh, I loved
was
it. I loved it.
amazing to
I loved
see.
it.
And those people are what made the legislators stand
Well, see,
their ground.
you can't tell me that doesn't make a person panic when it comes
Oh,
to that.
absolutely.
Can you answer that, please?
I
You
mean,
know how to do it, right? The Skype button.
if the legislators and the senators don't want to
Just put
vote
'em
no, just abstain.
Did you get it? Sandy? Hello? Who's on the phone with us? It's Hamilton Radio. Hello? I'm sorry.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, who is this?
Hey, it's Chris Stevens.
All right, Chris. Can you be a little louder? Can you make Chris a little louder, please?
1 2 1 2. Chris Stevens here.
No, not you, Chris. They got to do it on the board.
Go ahead, tell them talk.
Yeah, put it up a little bit higher.
Tell them talk.
Go ahead, Chris. Chris?
1 2 1 2 1 2.
I can hear you now. Go ahead. What's your question, Chris? This is a Hamilton Radio. This is our special show, Kill the Bill.
Here, that's one thing everybody.
Exactly. You're going to kill the bill for the. We're talking about the lights.
I'm sorry? What is your question or opinion? I'm sorry? Okay, he hung up. All right.
That's a bad connection. I don't know. hear what he said.
Well, a little bit more than that. I heard something in there. But they're going to have opposition on both sides.
Oh, sure.
Why? I don't see why. But I can understand. There's people out there that, like you said, there are parents that they think they should vaccinate. They, no matter what's in the vaccination, they think they should vaccinate. And I have to disagree with that, because my opinion is that I want to know what's in the vaccination shot. I want to know why we're giving it to each other or whatever, and what's the mandate. And why can't you sue the manufacturers? Why can't we go after the manufacturers? Why can't we hold them accountable for it?
And why
that's
aren't
gonna
we
be a whole
getting
nother show.
informed
Yeah, I know.
consent?
But it's part
for-
of, but it's part of the same.
It is. And I think that the beauty of this country is the medical freedom. People want-
Get the phone, please. Hello? Who's It's too loud. Lower it. Hello? Who's there?
Hello.
Put a little louder, please. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, who is this? Tiffany?
It's yes. Hi.
Hi, Tiffany. Welcome to the Kill the Bill show with Kate and Bridget, and also me, Doc G. And I know you've got a lot to say, so go ahead, my dear. I'll just let you run your words. We love Tiffany's awesome. Jerry.
Well,
Peters,
I've been listening, and I mean they're wonderful. My mom told me that you ladies are the ones in charge of the comfort station. Is that true?
Well, we secured the permits for it.
Okay.
After
Okay.
the 16th, it's a little much to take on to do all that. I reached out to the woman that led 1,000 people from the assembly chamber to the Senate chamber, Trinity Dawn. She is amazing.
She is amazing.
She just found her niche, and it's to protest. It's to rally people. So I reached out to her after I got the permits, and I said, Trinity, we want to provide a comfort station, a home base, a place for these people in January. It's going to be freezing cold. We want to get hand warmers, Mylar blankets. We want to provide the basic necessities for people.
Yeah.
And it has exploded from that. She's got multiple groups of people that are doing different things. We will have the amenities of hand warmers, Mylar blankets. We had coffee donated, a produce truck donated. We've got kosher food truck coming for the different communities, religious communities that are coming that only eat certain food, and they had to leave before because they didn't have food to give their kids. We are providing a tent specifically for them to pray and congregate.
Right, right.
Nice.
So we're going to have our tent. We'll set up with all of the different parts. We're going to have the coffee lady with her own tent, and we're going to have the religious tent for praying set up for the religious community that wants to be involved with this. So yes,
Amazing, guys.
we're making this happen. There's a grassroots team of women behind this that are amazing. Shilamita,
And you're all moms.
They're all
and you're all
moms.
moms, and that's what I
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
You can't hold back a mom. I know that for a fact, right, Tiff?
Yeah,
Because we're
absolutely.
mama bears.
And Trinity, I've been actually in close contact with Trinity. I have a bunch of supplies that I have to get to the comfort station as well that I'm donating.
Thank you.
I was there the 12th and the 16th. The 16th, we ended up in the Senate chambers. And I'll tell you, looking out of the window and watching everyone march was, it like brought tears to our eyes, gave us chills. It was just incredible.
Yeah.
And it was, my wife actually was with us, and she pointed it out. She was like, Tiff, you got to come see this. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
I was
And
inside
it's
too.
just amazing.
It was incredible looking out those windows and seeing the sea of people
Yeah.
standing out there for hours upon hours in their cold with their families, standing up for
Yeah.
medical freedom. I said I've never been prouder to be a Jersey girl. Seriously.
Yeah, seriously. And the chanting was literally like shaking the building. Like we
It
could
was.
hear it
Yes,
loud
it
and
was.
clear. It was amazing. And then everyone that was outside of the doors, inside of the Senate chambers, every time that door would open,
Yep, I was there
we
with
heard
you.
those words loud and clear. It was amazing.
Yeah, you
Amazing.
could. It was awesome.
I was
So I have a
listening.
question for you, ladies, actually.
Sure.
And nobody has been able to answer this for me. So, and I forgive me because I haven't been able to sit down and cross-reference the bills together. But so I have, I shouldn't even say this, but I have an inside source. I won't say from where, but she knows, how the bills work, and she works on the bills herself. And she told me that it's not exactly, how everybody's saying the bills have to match and, for them to both pass. And it's not really that, because either one can pass. So they don't really have to match. So she thinks, and I tend to think this too, that they are most likely, since Assembly already passed the A version, that they're going to substitute the S version for the A version on the floor in the Senate. So that way it doesn't have to go back to the Assembly. Because if they pass the S version, then that has to go back to the Assembly to pass the Assembly. So
That is absolutely
We're kind-
another strategy of there are many different ways that this
Oh,
could
boy.
play out.
Yeah.
I mean, there
boy.
are.
Yeah.
And they probably have them all covered just in case we do something.
Right. So my question for you is, what are the main differences of A and S?
Of the two bills?
You know? Yeah. Do you know?
Yeah, I do. So the
Okay.
main difference of the one bill, hold on, let me pull it up here. So I think that the main thing that stands out for me for 3818 is that it's effective immediately. That was the big
Okay.
one. It's effective immediately. And
Okay.
hold on, let me just,
It's still effective immediately. That was not amended?
that was not amended. Now this is
Not for A3818.
A3818. Now, A3818's journey was a little different than 2173. So when A3818 started, it was just tightening the religious exemption.
Right.
And then it went
Back in
through and it
April.
was
Yeah.
complete removal. And then they came
Yeah.
back with some mixed version of it. So this is removing the religious exemption, and it is effective immediately.
Okay. I for some reason thought that A was amended to the 180 days as well. But
No.
okay, all right.
Well, now, no, it wasn't. In fact, I called Office of Legislative Services to verify that, but they said that they couldn't amend it coming out of assembly. So,
Right. If it got amended after it passed assembly, it would have to go back to assembly. That's correct. Yeah.
so
Okay.
they couldn't amend it coming out of assembly. The bill that came out of assembly, the 3818, is the one that is effective immediately.
Okay, so if they substitute it and they vote on A instead of S in the Senate, then it's effective immediately, and we don't have that 180 days.
Correct.
But
we
if
also
they
don't have the New Jersey
vote on-
information. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. But if they vote on the S version will have to go back to the assembly. So, and the assembly, all the assembly members will not be there tomorrow. So
There's
which
no
means it
assembly
will
tomorrow.
Definitely go on the 13th.
There's no full assembly tomorrow. Full assembly
Right,
is the
there's
13th.
no assembly session. Correct, yes. So they would all have to come back on the 13th regardless if the S version passes.
They're all coming back anyway. So the 9th is full Senate chambers, and the 13th is full
Right.
Senate and full assembly already on the schedule.
And we need to be
Right,
prepared.
right, okay.
So that's
Okay.
already been in place. That's been on the legislative calendar since November something.
Right.
So that's those dates are there. They're going to be in full assembly on the 13th. They will be in full Senate on the 9th and the 13th. So these
Right.
are go days.
Yeah. So now I'm curious to see which bill they pass. I mean, if they vote on it, which bill they even vote on it, I'm curious to see.
Well, and it's the Senate that's got the play right now on that.
Yeah.
Because they either adopt 3818, pass it, it goes to the governor, or they put up their
Right.
S2173, and then it goes back to the assembly, or they take a 3818, amend it, and then it's got to go back to the assembly. So, I mean, there's so many ways that this has to go. And this was the reason that we've been
Yeah.
telling people in the Alliance in our group that, we need to reach back out to the assembly. Because this could come to that
Yeah.
plate on the 13th. You need to email them and say, hey, if S2173 or another version of 3818 come back across your
Right.
plate, please
Yep.
vote no or abstain. If you don't want to vote
Right.
no, abstain. Just don't give them a yes.
Right. Well, it's a little scary because we had, from our district, we have Greenstein, and we finally got a meeting with her, and I think 5 or 7 of us went there to talk to her. And originally, it was supposed to be just 5 minutes of dialogue for each person that not dialogue. 5 minutes that each person got to talk, and there would be no dialogue. So they were going there prepared for that. She did ask questions. She did seem to be receptive. However, she said, "Oh, this is to remove religious exemptions altogether? I thought it was just to tighten them." And this was just this past Friday. So that's a little scary. And then she said, "Yeah, we vote on so many things that sometimes we don't even know what we're voting on."
That's
Okay.
the thing I was
that's
told.
even more
That's what we
scary.
talk about. Tiffany, that's exactly what we were just talking about. They don't even see some of the stuff they're voting on. They're briefed on it.
Yeah, their aides usually.
And I was thinking, this is just this past Friday after all this, and my son wrote a letter and hand-delivered it to her office. I mean, after the thousands of letters and emails and calls and visits that office got, you don't think she would read over that bill again? You know what I mean?
It's a good question. It's a valid
fair.
question. I mean, I would, if I was in that position and someone's
So would I.
annoying me for something, I would say, what are they annoying me about? Let's go
Right.
check this out. But that's just my critical thinking cap. I can't
Right.
give anyone else.
Well, if you sign anything, you want to make sure that what you're signing is, what you're agreeing to, because, why would you sign anything? I mean, signing a blank check.
And I just want to say one thing too. I don't think that anybody should actually abstain because we're short votes as it is, and we can't afford anybody
right.
to abstain. We need people to no, prefer.
we need people
but
no.
You need to
Right.
commit to something.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't want anybody abstaining.
our goal here,
Yeah.
the goal here right now is to educate people, right? Tiffany and everybody else. We're trying to educate you to the point that, number one, you come and you show up tomorrow. And you understand the bill, and you understand what the bill represents, and you understand what's in the bill. And it's just like she said, there's an S and there's an A. You know, I wasn't even aware of that. So, you know, you need to know. I mean, you can ask Kate. She'll tell you the information. You can listen to the show. You can share it with other people. But the thing is, this is an education right now. If you're not learning right now, you know, I don't know what to tell you, because this is really something you need to know.
And let me just take.
Go
So
ahead.
this bill is so bad. If we need people in Trenton, flat out, that's what we need. The 9th and the 13th, they are go days. They are protest days. We need you to come and stand up for your rights.
Right.
Even
Because
if you can
no
only
one else
come-
is. Well, that's not true.
No,
We're going to.
Get passionate.
We need you to
Get
do
passionate.
it too.
I love the passion. Go ahead.
Because we have been in this fight for a long time. Label us what you will. That's fine. We are for medical freedom, and we are trying to preserve your freedoms that were given to us by
Right.
the Constitution.
Right.
You have the freedom. Stop letting them take it away. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
By doing
here's the
nothing,
thing,
it
guys.
does-
This
that's what
is
it does.
not. It's
By doing
not
nothing,
about
that's exactly how you let them
vaccines.
take
You
it
know, it's not about
Your
vaccines
silence
at all.
gives them
It's about
consent.
Right.
Yes.
your
Exactly.
choice in, you know, medical freedom. That is what it's about. Medical freedom, religious freedom, constitutional rights. Like, it has nothing to do with vaccines. It really doesn't, because
I
once
agree.
this passes, it is a very slippery slope. People
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I
Yep.
mean,
Exactly.
there
Where would they take
there
us
is no
next?
telling what they're going to, the other rights that they're going to take away. I mean,
Yep.
this
I
is just
agree.
a stepping stone for them, really.
I agree completely.
So do you have any other questions, Tiff? I know you're preparing for tomorrow, and first of all, I want to thank you for what you're doing tomorrow. And you know, she's going to be with a lot of people down there with her and Jerry Petito, and I know that you're a working mom, and you know I know your toddlers keep you up and stuff, but thank you so
thank
much
you.
for doing what you do.
Yeah.
Really.
I got 11 people to come that were not
Awesome.
there last time. Most of them are not
Yay.
even, I mean, they're pro-vax, but they, you know, understand whether they understand how important this bill is to not pass, or whether they support me in my decisions, they're going to be there. And it's 11 extra people, and I'm really happy about that, and I'm just hoping that everybody else has done what they can to try to get other people to come with them as well.
Yeah, thank you. And I think a lot of the people who are pro-vaccine are realizing that this is about everybody.
Right.
This isn't just the
Yeah.
anti-vaxxers that
Right.
like to label us. This
Right.
is, what if they mandate HPV
Yeah.
next? So, you know, and next year
Exactly.
maybe you need to get, maybe they'll mandate yearly flu shots. Maybe they'll mandate you at your job.
Yep.
My husband's a union electrician. He's done work in the hospitals. He worries about that. I mean, this can affect everybody.
You know
and
what
it is a slippery
you know what
slope.
I heard now? I don't know if this is true. This is hearsay, but everybody on Social Security, if you don't get vaccinated, you won't get your Social Security. So they're going to hold us as hostage to get our money
Yeah. If anybody hasn't read
and pensions
the,
as well.
If anybody hasn't read the Adult Immunization 2020 plan, I highly suggest that you read it, because it is all laid out what they're going to do. I've been speaking
Yep.
about this since 2016. I've been taking legislation meetings. My husband's been taken off of work.
Thank
We've
you
been
for what you
talking.
do.
We've been bringing this. We've been telling them this is what we're concerned about. And I've been watching it roll out for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
And everybody is still quiet. And I'm like, I don't understand. It's right here. Look at it. It's happening. Do you want to stop it? Or do you want the government mandating what medical procedures you have done? And now there's a 2020 to 2030 plan. And quite honestly, I haven't been able to read that yet, because I'm a little scared. I probably, just like the 2020, but worse. And we're a little busy, but I will be reading that,
Well,
and everybody should.
thick, right?
I have the big thick
Yeah,
binder of the
the
2020
2020
plan
was about
that we
3
bring-
inches thick.
We bring to our monthly meetings. I have 4
Highlighted,
copies of it, all
tabbed.
highlighted for everybody to look at. It's all in black and white. People, wake up and pay attention before your rights are gone. Seriously.
Yeah, we can't be more eminent than that. We have to just keep on saying the same thing over and over again. If we have to, kind of beat you like in the head like that, well, they'll do that. But that's what we have to do.
Yep.
We have to wake people up.
Don't say
And
we
when will they
support
wake
you.
up if they don't wake up
Seriously,
now,
when
Tiffany?
you have to go get a vaccine to, get your license renewed, and you just sat there and did nothing while we were fighting for your rights, don't say we didn't warn you.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. Don't complain after it happens, because there's nothing we
Nope.
can do for you.
And
Nope.
that
All right,
could be a
guys, I'm
possibility
gonna
with
get
the
going.
New
Get,
real
get,
ID.
get a good night's sleep. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Keep going. Keep going.
Well, we're not
Bye, guys.
stopping.
We will.
Oh, I just want to give some shout outs to some friends. I have a friend at Richard Kanka. He's part of the council here in Hamilton. He's watching. Jerry Petito's watching. We just so many people watching. We have people from different countries watching, different states. Let's see how many celebrities. Let's see. We have a couple different people here. Let's see. Eric Ziller. He's the head of the CTF TV. Which is actually going to be carrying a lot of Hamilton radio TV shows. Thank you, Eric, for your time. Howie Garroot from Southern Country Radio in Tennessee, thank you. And so many other people out there just watching and waiting. John Acunzo from another show on Sundays, Sold Out. He's a pastor that comes in here, and we love him. Rob Scribner from Arizona. My buddy Rob, he decided to do a quick promo today with me from Good Talk Radio, and I want to give him a shout out. He's a great guy, and he's got everybody's back, and he understands the far-reaching of what governments can do because he's right by California and he sees it. So, just thank you all for keep listening, and we got so much more to talk about. We'll get back to everybody as we talk, but this is so important. Bridget, let's talk about. Well, you said you had vaccinated your kid, and you did everything the doctor said.
Yeah.
And it's been a couple years, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, she's 13 now.
So what is the child like now, or teenager like now, compared to when they were vaccinated?
I mean, she's not your typical 13-year-old. My daughter was nonverbal until she was 5. We used the PECs. We did intense therapy with her. We started with early intervention, and then we were doing private therapies. I mean, I remember when she was little, taking her for OT. Now, this is a child that had mild hypotonia, tactile defensiveness, gravitational insecurity, nonverbal. She wore a compression suit. I had to do the brushing program with her.
Wow.
I had to do chewy tubes with her. She would chew on the bricks in my house. She ate a Christmas ball off my Christmas tree.
Oh, wow.
We would take her to the beach. She would eat seashells. You had to be completely on top of her. You put your hand in her mouth to get whatever it is out. And I mean, you're going to do it. It's your mom instincts. But you knew you would be lucky to get your finger back, because then she'd chomp down on your finger and you'd have grooves in your finger for like 2 hours. Eating is absolutely horrible. We did do gluten-free, casein-free when she was younger, when she was getting early intervention, and she shut down. She wouldn't eat or drink anything. And I had speech and OT both working on that with me.
God.
And they were like, we were trying to wait her out. And they were like, you can't do this anymore. We just got to give her what she'll eat. She eats horribly. She still, to this day, can't sit with us for like Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner. It's not uncommon for her just to look at what we're eating. And I say, this isn't yours, honey, this is ours. And she'll throw up all over the table. She'll throw up on the floor. I mean, just looking at that makes her vomit. She is verbal now. I fought last year really, really hard to get her out of a school she was in and to get her into a high-functioning autism school. My daughter had to prove herself 3 times. She had to go to that school to show that she could handle that work, to show she was developing high enough that she could go. And she is one of the lower functioning kids there, but I'm so proud of her because she did. She's shy too, if you don't know her, on top of having the social issues.
Right.
So for her to do that, I mean, it was huge, and I was proud of her. And anybody who follows me on Facebook knows I was shouting out, like, please pray for me. Like, this is crucial. I get my daughter in. And that was one of the things I fought for last year, which I did. I got her in, and she got her in. And she has a one-to-one aide with her now. Typically, the kids there don't have a one-to-one, but she does.
Right.
But guess what? She is now reading at a 2nd grade level. She's now doing 2nd grade math. She's making huge progress, okay? And if I am forced to homeschool her, which I will do because I will never, ever vaccinate her again, it could kill her. I will never have my grandchildren vaccinated. None of them, but my family will get vaccinated, in my immediate family. And for me to homeschool, I will. But I don't think they realize what the kids with IEPs will be losing. My daughter gets 6 therapy sessions a week. She gets 3 times a week of OT and 3 times a week of speech. And guess what? Do you think my insurance company is going to cover that?
No.
No, they're not. So then what's going to happen if this child who is making progress, who I feel, in my opinion, like I know what she can do. I know it's in there. And they always say, it's in there. We just got to get it. And it's coming out. Which she's going to be a burden on the state. She's going to have to be taken care of for the rest of her life. But she has a chance now. If she gets the tools that she needs, if she gets the help. And I'm particularly really upset with S2173. Now, I think it's fabulous that they put in an amendment in there for 180 days. I mean, the whole thing still stinks. I don't want the bill to go at all. But it at least gives parents a little bit of time to prepare for September, because that's when it would take effect for typically developing children. If you count 6 months from when this session ends, that'll go to July. Well, children with IEPs go to school all year round. They go to ESY, the Extended School Year Program, because they would have regression if they had a summer break. My daughter goes to school all year long, and she has to. It's crucial she gets those therapies. Okay, so she gets out of school June 19th. She's back in school July 5th or 6th. That's as soon as it'll affect me. There is no time for me to prepare. And I mean, I always say if this was my older daughter who's typically developing and I had a homeschooler, it'd be a lot easier. There's a lot of things on the computer to help you. But at the same time, I'll never comply. I will never vaccinate her again.
And I love that about you. You stand strong.
And I don't have any fear, because fighting this bill, like in the past, I've had fear fighting the bills. And I don't have that this time. And I don't know, just because I'm just finally fed up with what New Jersey's doing. But I'm like, you know what? I know what I won't do. And the rest, God will help me figure out. You know, who knows?
Praise the Lord. God, that was beautiful. And
Thank you.
I wish I could echo for all the parents out there that are going through the same thing. But I mean, she's talking about a little bit of what parents are going through, but there's some parents that their actual kids die
Yes.
After the vaccine shot. So I would love people to call in about vaccine injured children and tell us about, how you're dealing with that and how you feel about the bill, because I really want to get your side. Now, if you want to be on the other side and talk about how you think vaccines are good, you can call in too. The phone number is 609-807-2492, 609-807-2492, and we'll take your call. But Kate, I know your story is...
Well, let's stick with the IEP thing real quick on the therapies, because this bill is talking about removing our religious exemption. And for those students that hold IEPs, which is an individual education plan, for those that don't know, it's an individualized contract between the school district and the parents for the child to provide the services that the child needs. So it's providing direct therapies and services for that child.
Correct.
So those that have an IEP and use a religious exemption, if you are not allowed to return, you are now discriminating against the most vulnerable population in our state. These children need therapies. These children need help. They need consistency. And the last thing they need is to be ripped out of school for politicians to have their pockets lined. I mean,
No, tell her like it is. Tell her like that's how you see it. And that's how I see it.
Well, let's just say they are removed from school. So what happens then? Okay, so the parents, regardless of what the parents are going to have to do at home, that's going to be an individual task. But what about the school districts? They're not going to get their funding that they depend on every year from these special needs students, these special education students. They get special funding federally.
Yes, they do.
So you now pull out your 1 or 2%, because we're not much of the religious exemption.
Very true.
And I think a lot of the religious exemptions also hold an individual education plan. But you take those kids out. I mean, the schools are losing money. Are they aware of this bill that could potentially take away funding?
That's a good point. I never looked at it that way, but you're 100% correct. The
Every-
schools have a
everyone's
lot to lose in this.
do.
The
And-
superintendents of the schools are going to have to come up with a lot more money, and you can't keep raising property taxes, people.
And another thing, because I drive my daughter to school every day, and the school she's at, there's lots and lots of buses from Pennsylvania. So this is not only going to affect New Jersey children.
That's right.
This is going to affect special needs children in Pennsylvania
Yes,
too.
absolutely. Absolutely. And we know that for a fact. Sandy, we know that because a couple of our friends have special needs children, right? And we deal with, we hear a lot of stories. We hear a lot of stories about a lot of things. Oh, can we take that phone call, please? Hello, who's on air with us? Hamilton Radio
Yeah,
and
hi, I'm
Fill the
calling
Bill.
in.
Who is this?
My name's Kathy Saravalli.
Hi, Kathy.
Kathy's my co-founder.
Oh, hi,
And
Kathy.
Kate.
Yeah, welcome to the show. What do you have to add to this?
Thank you. Well, you had said that you want to talk about injuries. I'm a mother of a vaccine-injured child.
Please do.
Yeah. Well, my son's 19 now, and he goes to the S9 program at Rowan. It's funded by Yale. Bridget's daughter goes to the same school, but she's younger than my son. So he has, what they basically do is he has some academics, but they teach him life skills. They're preparing him for his job and whatnot, different skills and all. And, if this bill should pass, he's going to have to leave school. So it's absolutely horrible. My son was diagnosed with autism when he was 4. And no informed consent, nothing. I just put blind trust in the doctor. I came to find out that he was shot up with 3,500 micrograms of aluminum and 235 micrograms of tamarisol. He's part of the tamarisol generation because he was born in the year 2000. So he had, he got the double dose, the Hep B, he had the aluminum and the tamarisol. And then, of course, he started to change around 2.5. And I'll tell you, it has really been a journey. And people who do not walk this journey have no idea, what we as parents have to look at, every day of our lives.
Well,
So-
Kathy, we banged the drum. We're banging the drum right now for people to come and be part of this because,
absolutely. And
it
more
is-
people have to wake up.
Right.
I mean, it's like teaching a blind man how to dance, but it's just really, it's been rough. And these kids didn't do anything. They've never hurt anybody. I mean, and a lot of them, the only thing they have is school. I mean, if you look at mercury poisoning right across the board, he doesn't have pragmatic speech to make friends. He has no friends. He's home with me every weekend, where he should be out dating, being away at college,
Right.
like his peers.
Driving.
He don't do that. I'm his friend. It's absolutely horrible. So I just wanted to come in. I want to support Bridget and Kate. I'm very proud to be working alongside of them.
Yeah, I think they're both two wonderful ladies, and I think they're going to, I think their
Oh, they are.
is driven
They-
home to everybody. I don't see why nobody is on board with this, I don't know why they don't understand or why they're confused or that's what we're here to answer questions, people. You just ask the questions and we'll answer them. Or if we don't know them, we'll find out for you.
Yep.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we need big numbers tomorrow in Trenton. And I think New Jersey will come through with those numbers because I've been in this movement for 10 years now. I started in 2009. And we've always had a strong community. And it's only getting bigger and bigger. And I heard somebody say earlier, I think her name was Tiffany, when she looked out the windows, that we were at the State House on December 16th. When I looked out those windows, just over the years and seeing how much this movement has grown, I tell you, it was the greatest vision my eyes have ever seen.
Well, like I told the ladies, I'm going to tell you, we just probably need a celebrity that could just shine the light on everything, and
Yeah, that would be great.
that's all we really need on top of the people. But, You get a big name
Yeah.
out there, a big sports figure or somebody like that, and that's
I know
Yeah.
people had said Rob Schneider was going to be in Atlantic City this weekend,
My
and
daughter
people were
loves Rob
trying to
Schneider.
work
Yeah.
at, to reach out to
I told
him.
you. I
Yeah.
I
would
heard
love
that.
Rob.
I heard that too.
We
Well,
heard
I
whispers.
saw some
Yeah,
kind of
he's
thread that he said he may come tomorrow. I don't know if he was serious or not, but
Oh, that would be fabulous.
that would be great.
Yeah.
You know, we have Sherry Tenpenny talking tomorrow at 2:00. She's really good.
You love
So,
Sherry.
you know, we'll just, you know, it's just going to keep growing and growing as more people wake up, because we really, people, I feel like I'm always banging on the glass just telling people, you
Right.
know, I know
That's
they're
what I
tired
do
of
all the time.
hearing
I
things,
know.
but it's so awful. The truth lies in those vaccine insert packets. And I don't know one parent that was ever given a vaccine insert packet,
Never.
ever,
That's
at a
Never.
well baby visit. Excuse me for 1 second. Michael, honey, could you
No,
keep
you're
it
right.
down?
And I want to just elaborate on what Kathy said, because if I go into CVS or Rite Aid or any local pharmacy and say, oh, yeah, can I have a vaccine packet? I say, just Google or just go to YouTube. No, I want the vaccine packet. I want to see what you have. And they won't give it to you.
Exactly.
See, now that would be good legislation. That
But that's
would
what I'm
be
saying. We can
right.
use that.
Well, what I'm saying is, so anytime you get medication,
Right.
you get that little slip of paper, and that's the insert.
Right.
The problem is their vaccines are in a vial, and they get X number of vaccines per vial. However, they only, fortunately, have one insert to give out. We could maybe get some legislators on board to say, hey, vaccine inserts should be given with each shot. Make multiple
Absolutely.
copies.
Yeah.
That is absolutely correct.
Because you have the vaccine.
And someday I think that will happen. You know, but we have
We got to
mountains
fight
to
for that,
climb.
Kathy. You know,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
everything
yeah.
we fight for.
You know, so yeah, that's all I have to say. Just have to keep praying that people see the light, because this is just awful. It really is.
It is.
People really have to wake up and see what's going on here, and the corruption, and it's just horrible.
And you got to
You know,
remember,
I mean,
too,
this has
Kathy, they
nothing
own the
to
media
do with
as well.
this has nothing to do with the health
I know
and
that.
well-being of these children. This has everything to do with corporate greed and these politicians getting their pockets lined from big pharmaceutical companies. And it's just time for people to see this. So that's all I really have to say. I just thank you for bringing this to light and finding Kate and having the show tonight.
Yeah.
So.
I thank Kate for taking a chance on who I am. I'm just a person, but I have a bigger mouth, I think, because I have a
Yeah,
bigger,
well, that's
bigger
good.
place.
That's great.
Well, and
Yeah,
that
that was a good sign. I'm glad that you were listening to
Yeah.
the radio
Yeah,
station
it's the voice
yesterday.
of God.
I think
God
it was
was intervening.
2 days ago when Kate called in
Yeah.
and found her, and
for those that don't know, I
wonderful.
called in on 101.5 on my way to Trenton Monday
Yes, you
morning.
did.
I was driving up. I was going to pick up the permit, and I thought, I heard on the radio, hey, we're taking calls. And I thought, sure, why not? And I called, and they said, oh, well, we've got traffic and this and that. If you want to, call back. And I said, I'm going to be in the car for the next 45 minutes. I'll hold. And I did. And they put me on, and I was able to talk to them about Occupy Trenton, the comfort stations, the protests, the thousands of people that are going to descend upon Trenton.
Yep.
And it was great. They heard me out. It was fantastic. We're all going to fight for medical freedom,
Yep,
for
absolutely.
freedom, for freedom.
Right.
It's
Yes,
all
we
for
are.
freedom. So yeah.
Yes.
And then
we are.
Jean messages our Facebook page, and then here we are. When doors open, we walk through them
That's
because
right.
I feel like we've been screaming from soapboxes.
But nobody's
Yeah.
been
For
hearing
years.
you. See,
Nobody-
Nobody's hearing
And
you.
so
Yeah.
I think one of the things that a lot of vaccine injured parents, once they realize what's happened, they get mad. Why didn't anybody tell me?
All right.
Exactly.
And you know what?
Right.
We've been yelling this for years. It's just our voices are only so loud. And if we have the opportunity to make our voice louder, we're going to take it. So here we are,
Beautiful.
reaching the people.
Yep.
The people that need to come to Trenton tomorrow.
That's right. That's right.
Protect your rights.
Yes,
You have a
absolutely. The first time I testified in Trenton, I was terrified. I felt like I was having some kind of out-of-body experience before I got called up on the microphone, and I'll never forget it. There was a girl there. She had an infant, like in a pouch in front of her, and she turned around to me and she said, Are you testifying? Because I had my paper in my hand. I said, yeah. And she goes, aren't you nervous? And I said, yeah, I'm really scared. And I'll never forget this. She said, well, you have 500 friends standing behind you.
Oh, that's true.
And it was packed up at that State House.
Yeah.
And, it just gave me the courage to go to that microphone. I was nervous when I first sat down, but as I read, I found myself getting angrier and angrier. The nervousness went away. I just found myself getting angry, as I read my son's story. So.
Because, Kath, every time we have to share our story and we have to talk about it, it hurts. Yeah. It hurts. It brings back all those emotions.
Right.
But we still do it. And we only do it to help other people's children be safe, to protect them, because nobody did tell us. I wish somebody told me.
Oh, me too, Bridget. Me too. Yeah, I had I never trusted the vaccines 100%. I do have to say, when my oldest son was getting vaccinated, I remember standing outside the room, like, crying, almost in tears. And I remember the nurse passed and said, you'd cry a lot more if you got one of the diseases.
And I had that same instinct too, and we talked about it too. And I remember with my oldest, our oldest, or like the same age, and I said to my mom, I said, you know what? And this is my oldest one. She used to get reactions too. I just thought that's how she was after the vaccines. But I said, I don't want to give her these anymore, because every time I give them to her, she sleeps all day long for hours upon hours upon hours. I knew that was the day to get my cleaning done, because she was going to sleep all day and I'd have to wake her up. So I told my mom, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And she's like, well, you have to. I said, why? What are they going to do to me? She goes, well, she won't be able to go to school. I was like, well, I guess they got you there. She's got to go to school.
Right.
So nobody was talking to me. Nobody told me there was any other options.
Because everybody did as they thought they were doing.
Yeah,
right.
we were all good little soldiers listening to what they told us to do.
Exactly. Yep. That's
and
true.
I believe, is there a bill in another state about schools having to disclose when you get your sheets at the beginning of the year, you get all your information.
Right.
Like, you have to get these shots for this year, or submit your religious exemption. That's got to be the same size font as the other.
That's PANFA. That's our sister organization. That's the school bill code that they're working on. Yes.
Thank you.
That's,
So why do
that's
you-
PANFA,
why-
our
That's
sister
what
organization.
that's what I was saying. I was like, that's a great bill. We've
Yes.
got big shoes to fill with our sister organizations. Really
Sure.
big
Yeah.
shoes. And
They're awesome.
we just haven't had time. We've been in emergency mode in Jersey for quite a while now, but we've got big plans.
Yeah,
for,
we were working
we
on-
want people that are in this to join us.
Please.
To join us.
Please.
To
There
learn
should be companies
about the
sponsoring you
process.
and backing you and going, how many people you need? 100? I got that. I got 250 people that'll help you.
Yeah, that would be fabulous.
Yeah, we just need people. I want
Throughout
people.
grassroots.
I want to empower
exactly.
people to reach out to their legislator, to their assembly people, to their Senate people, to reach out to them and make an appointment, to build the relationship with them, because that's what we need. That's what really has gotten us to date, but we need to make that even bigger. More people are coming to this fight, and I'm going to apologize now to anyone that's asked to be part of our group,
Right.
because you're sitting in limbo. I
Yeah.
apologize.
We have no time
We
to
have no
vet
time.
people right now, and we just can't let anybody in without vetting them. Our focus has been on these bills.
And you have to. You have to.
I mean,
True.
we feel horrible. We've put out multiple times in our group, if you are vouching for someone that you know personally, not on Facebook, you physically know them, to send an administrator a PM with that person in there, and we can get them in quicker. But there is no time to go through hundreds of people who wanted to get into our group.
No.
Not right now.
All right, ladies, I know you have a question, Sandy. And Kathy, do you have any more information? Or
No, that's all. Are you going to be in Trenton tomorrow, Gene?
I was planning on it, but my mother-in-law and my wife won't let me go, because I got to transition her into her home, and we have to talk to the aide. So I would love to be there. I'm going to try to be there. I'm not promising. I'm going to try to be there.
Okay, that's understandable.
And that's all I can do.
Okay, well, maybe I'll meet you sometime in the near
Absolutely. You can
future.
always come to the studio anytime. I mean, really.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for doing this. Thanks,
Oh, it's
Bridget.
my pleasure.
Thanks,
Believe me,
Kate.
you don't know how welcome you are.
Oh, okay. Good night. God bless.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Kat. See
Thanks,
you bright
Kat.
and early in the morning.
Oh, yes, bright and early.
Go get some
Okay,
sleep.
bye-bye, everybody.
All right. Listen, ladies, I want to talk about, because I have a lot of other people. Coleman Green is a great comedian. He's on there. Sal Angeletti does Talking with Baseball. Now, the reason Talking Baseball with Sal Angeletti is a new show, just started about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, something like that. But he's working with the Autism Foundation.
Okay.
And I want to encapture everybody in there, because Hamilton Township just elected a new mayor, right, Sandy? Jeff Martin, and he is working with the Autism Foundation, Trenton Thunder, and a lot of different organizations within that, Miracle League and stuff like that. So it's for kids that always wanted to play ball, but they were handicapped and they
My daughter
would
went
never.
1 year for that. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
so
I know.
So you understand the organization. So we're going to be involved with them. So the reason why I say that is there's a couple people watching, but I want people to know, and I don't know if you have the list of what's in the vaccines. Can you give me an idea of what's in the vaccine so people can hear? But before we do that, I want to take a question from my beautiful wife, Sandy.
You should have
I've been married for 28 years. God bless you, Sandy. What is your question, honey?
Well, actually, it was a
Come here.
statement. Sorry.
Let everybody hear. Come here. And this, by the way, is a successful children's book author that's working on her second book. And I'm not trying to promote that. I'm just saying it. But she's a wonderful mom like you guys. And go ahead, just talk in there.
Okay. Well, one thing I just wanted to bring up. Okay, my mom was in a rehab in a nursing home for several weeks, and she had a roommate come in. And this woman every year would get a flu shot. Okay, she was about in her, I guess, mid to late 70s. Well, she got paralyzed. Doctors won't admit it, but she was fine before she got this flu shot. So what happened? You know, she knows it was a flu shot that paralyzed her, and now she has to get all this therapy and everything. It's just like on the one side. And I'm wondering how many other cases stuff like this is happening, and doctors are not admitting it, and even in hospitals, things that are being covered up, or people are being threatened to lose their license if certain things are being revealed. I mean, I've heard different whistleblowers on, different things like that.
Well, the big whistleblower was the one for the MMR,
Yes.
William Thompson, and the CDC. Who still works at the CDC, by the way?
The revolving door
Okay.
between the
Yes.
FDA, the CDC. and all
So yeah, he's a big whistleblower. He was actually the basis of the movie Vaxxed.
Okay, yes. I'm
The movie
familiar
was
with that.
all about him
Uh-huh.
and reporting on the corruption within the CDC, revolving around the MMR vaccine.
And how did we ever let this thing happen? You know, when we were
Not doing
conditioned. When I was in school, we got our booster shots. You know, the doctor came into school. And, I mean, we didn't like needles. We were little kids. We stood in line and we did it. And then we went back to class. We were too young to really know what happened. I mean, we just thought we were being protected from something, you know?
And just
Yeah.
like the same way we thought we were protecting our kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll even say animals, because we just lost our dog of 10, 11 years. So, but do we have a list of what's in the vaccines? I know some of the stuff. I know there's
I mean, I can
formaldehyde in it.
Yes, there's formaldehyde. I could pull it up on
Yeah,
here.
there's mercury, silver, not silver, mercury and aluminum, I believe.
Yep.
There's also glycol in it,
Iridating.
which is, because I was a New Jersey State Police, guys. New Jersey State Police, you my friends. For 25 years, I took care of all your cars, all your families, because I made sure you got home to your families, working on your cars from bumper to bumper for 25 years. You owe me this. You need to be there tomorrow. You need to support me in this. New Jersey State Police, I support you every day, because it was my life that I dedicated to you guys as a paramilitary organization to help people around the state, not just give tickets and look for quotas, but to actually help people, save people's lives. And a lot of my friends, you know who you are. I need you on this. I need you to tell your troopers, to tell them, the ones that are off, to be there tomorrow. I know everybody can't be, I understand that. But we need your support, guys. I need the detectives, I need sergeants, I need everybody there to show the force. My lieutenants, the colonels, the people that were in the state police, you all know me. You've known me for years. And I know you're going to hear this or see this someplace. But I gave you 25 years. You owe this to me. Go ahead. What else? What else is in it? We have Lycol, which is antifreeze.
Well, I'm going to the CDC website right now.
Okay.
Just so you know.
All right, we're going to get it directly from the CDC.
Yeah,
This
we're going to
is
go
what
to
exactly
the
is in
CDC
it.
website.
I want to give some shout outs. I have Sharon Priscilla Vieira. She's an awesome person.
Kathy's texted me.
Mitchell J. Sally, I told you, Sally Angeletti's watching. We have a lot of people watching, a lot of different channels watching, a lot of different groups watching. Thank you all for being here with this show, please.
Kathy, who just called in, is texting me information too.
Okay, good.
She's saying DTAP, formaldehyde, is a carcinogenic.
Right.
Aluminum, MMR, sucrose, sorbitol, 2 forms of sugar getting injected into the blood causing diabetes 1 in children.
Right.
And Kathy's a holistic nutritionist.
Right.
She's studied a lot.
Oh.
Actually, you should have asked this question when she was online.
She was on the
She
phone.
was just been like,
She
Yeah,
wrote
but she's
down-
tired. I know why she's tired, but that's beautiful. That's great.
And WI38, aborted fetal cells in the MMR.
Okay, there are things. Okay.
Yeah, these
Okay.
are.
She's telling
That's
me most of the
the
stuff.
shot on the left, and then the right side is all the.
All right, we got another phone call. Can we have that phone call, please? You're all live on the air for Kill the Bill. This is Doc G and Kate and Bridget. Who's on the phone?
This is Crystal.
Hi, Crystal.
Hey guys, how
Hi,
are
Crystal.
you?
Thank you for
Good.
calling in, Crystal.
Crystal is the co-founder of our sister organization in Pennsylvania.
Tell us a little bit about that organization, Crystal, and why you're so against or with these ladies.
I'm with them because my daughter was vaccine injured when she was 5 years old. I took her in for kindergarten vaccines, and within 3 hours, her fever was 105.7. She was projectile vomiting. She could not walk. I called my doctor. He said it was a vaccine injury, and once they put the vaccine in, they can't take it out. So pretty much the goal was to get her fever down. It took us 3 days of her being in bed for her to be able to walk again.
Oh, my God.
And when she started walking, she couldn't see. So back to the doctor, and he sent us to a ophthalmologist who said she's legally blind from the vaccines that she received. So she does have a medical exemption. She is documented as, being vaccine injured. However, I don't think people are aware that in order to get a medical exemption, you have to be injured. And the exemption is only good for the vaccine that caused the injury.
Yep.
Yeah, that's correct. And
Now, in my daughter's case, she was given so many at one time, they didn't know which one it was that caused it. So she was exempt to all of the ones she had received, which were MMR, DTaP, chickenpox, and polio. Now, she's 20 years old, and she really has all of her life she's wanted to help people. So she wanted to go to pre-med school. Now, pre-med school, you need a medical exemption for clinicals. You cannot use a religious exemption. And seeing as she's only exempt medically from the one she received when she was 5, it was a huge hassle to get her exempted from the hepatitis B. And thankfully, my doctor realized what had happened to her. I took studies in about how the hepatitis B can further do harm on vision, and he did give her a medical exemption, so she is in pre-med school now. I'm really grateful for what these ladies are doing, and they're doing a fantastic job because all of us need to stand up for our religious
Correct.
beliefs, because had I had known back then that these vaccines have aborted fetal cells in them,
Right.
that the MMR, the live vaccines, are grown on aborted fetuses, and when you suck that up into a needle, obviously you cannot get all the DNA out of it. Had I had known that, I would have never vaccinated my child. Now, my child, like I said, she's 20 now, but when she was around 16, she decided that she really wanted to help people, and what better way to do that but to try to get the word out of what happened to her, because she remembers what it felt like when her brain swelled.
Right.
So we started the Pennsylvania Medical Freedom Alliance. And some of the things that we have done, and we are a true medical freedom alliance, not an anti-vaccine organization. We have helped to lobby and get medical cannabis passed in Pennsylvania.
Beautiful.
And we were the first state to have autism as a condition to medical cannabis. We went on and we helped to lobby and pass right to try. We went on to lobby and pass pause law, which in Pennsylvania, before pause law, if you were considered mentally or physically handicapped, you were ineligible for an organ transplant. So pause law ended the discrimination, and we were able to get that passed. So that's a new thing in PA too. The vaccine issue, I heard the girls bring up our school code bill. Representative Diamond has introduced that for us, and what that does is every year we all get these notifications from schools saying your child needs XYZ vaccine in order to come to school. This bill would have that same letter in the same font size say, or use a exemption. And Pennsylvania has two exemptions. We have the medical exemption and we have the religious exemption that also has a philosophical belief tied into it because of how Pennsylvania was founded by the Quakers. So they cannot remove our quote-unquote philosophical part of that without removing our entire religious exemption.
Right, it's like removing a part of history.
Right. Correct. But New Jersey, these New Jersey girls are showing Pennsylvania how it's done with these thousands of people that are coming, and fighting back against this stuff and saying, enough, you will not trample on our religion. This is our child, our God, our belief. And they are really showing us how it's done, and I appreciate you ladies so very much.
We
I do too.
appreciate you,
I do
Crystal,
too.
and all your help and guidance from our Big Sister organization, and of course your friendship, girl.
Yeah, I'm just so grateful for everybody fighting this, and I really feel like you guys are going to show the United States how this is done, and I really feel like you guys are going to win.
And so do I, Crystal, and we've talked about that before, and I really, honestly, I believe we can win this. I really do. I think if they had the votes, it would have been posted on the agenda already. I think that they're listening to us. I don't know.
Oh, they're listening.
Where
They're
the
definitely
guidelines are, how many exactly, but I do know, and I just know, I could just feel it, that we're being heard. They proved that when we were there last time, and they didn't put the bill up. They couldn't flip the votes, and they were trying. They were pulling different senators aside and trying to talk with them. I guess do backdoor deals, but
Right.
our legislators stood strong, and that was because
So
of
let's-
the people outside.
Let's give them a round of applause because in a way, because the ones that stand strong are our foundation. They're the ones that believe like us, and I love that there are people out there like that. But unfortunately, there's others out there that want to go to the profit side, and they'll go to the lobbyists, and lobbyists, they know what to do. They know how to
Right.
talk anybody into anything. They tell their staff or whatever. But it's very sad that we have to deal with that. But it's always good to know that there's always good out there, and that's the
Yeah.
other people.
Well, and
So
based-
that's
Nice
great
to
for
see.
them.
Yeah.
Yes, beautiful. Go ahead.
Based on the corruption in New Jersey, it has to be the people who are doing this,
Yep.
because I honestly don't think that any of their quote-unquote beliefs are strong enough to overtake that money that's being offered to them. When there's too many people in New Jersey legislature who owe each other things because they've been given money for their own campaigns and such, to become legislators, I think that the only reason that they're able to hold the ground that they're holding and to be on our side with this is because of all the people who showed up. I definitely think it was you guys, and it was all the people. I don't think that it was, not to say that they're not good people. I do think that they are, but I know that money talks. And we've seen the corruption in Jersey, and I feel like it's all you. It's all the people that have done this.
And that's why it is imperative that we have extremely large numbers on Thursday, on Monday, regardless if the bill is posted or not, because we know they could just call it to the floor.
Very true.
And we all need to be there. And we need to double our numbers that we had last time.
Thursday's tomorrow.
What did I say?
Okay, girl.
You
Well,
said
I gotta
Thursday,
go.
but
I have to
tomorrow.
get back to
Tomorrow.
the baby, but I just
Tomorrow
wanted
is
to
Thursday,
call in and say
everybody.
hi.
Remind my son.
Thank you, Crystal. Appreciate you.
You're
calling.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Crystal. It was nice
Thank you.
talking to you. Appreciate
You
your
too.
time and what
Thank
you're
you
doing.
so
Thank
much
you.
for doing this.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
I wish I could do more. Let me just say this real quick before we continue on. Was it maybe 10 years ago, before I retired, I was approached by Pfizer. They heard my radio station. They liked what I did. And I told you the story many times, my wife over there. And they asked me, they said, would you help promote our drugs? And I said, no, I won't do that because, I see what they do in people and they hurt people. They said, oh no, we'll give you $5,000. I said, well, I could use the money, but I'm not going to subject myself to a pharmaceutical company that goes out and kills people. They say, oh, well, that's not true. That's, it's hearsay. And how about $10,000? And I said, guys, you can offer me $1 million. I'm still not going to do it. I said, it's not going to work. I'm not going to do it. And I just stopped. And I knew from then on it was a fight between me and the pharmaceutical drugs. And what did I have? A couple of years ago, I was on, 15 different drugs that almost killed me. I was bleeding internally. I had a mini stroke.
gosh.
And I had 10 back operations. No, but I mean, but still, I was on Celebrex and Bextra and Flexerol and driving cars and doing things with all these different drugs in my system and drugs for what you were talking about earlier, about how you have one drug here and it's like a drug cocktail. And they all intermix. And every time I kept taking one drug for another drug, it would cause another side effect. So
Yep.
they kept giving me a drug
Yep,
for
giving
everything.
you another one. Yeah, that's what we did.
And I had asthma. I had never had asthma in my whole life. I never drank. I never smoked. But I had asthma. They were putting me on the Advair, right? And the internist says, if you don't get off of all these drugs right now, you're going to die soon because you're bleeding internally. You don't know anything else about you. And I just okay, I had to do it. And I just got rid of everything. The Prozac, the Zoloft,
Yep.
Nexum? Yeah, and all the other drugs I was on. And I just got off of them, and now I'm only on thyroid medicine. But my point is, everything, when it's together in a vial, and everything in your body, when it's in your body chemistry, mixes together, you don't know the result you're going to get. So how do the vaccine makers know how it's going to react to our DNA? How do they know it's going to affect each person? And how do they know that the drugs aren't going to interact with each other? Because they don't. And how do they know that you're drinking enough water? Because you can drink a lot of water and still have a reaction. So my thought on the day is I experienced what probably a lot of other people experience: side effects. Diabetes, blood sugar, and all this stuff that you need to control by diet and everything else. You don't need the drugs. You don't need them. And the more people that get off the drugs and do cannabis, listen to me. I took cannabis because my wife told me to take it. I would have never felt comfort if I ever did. I could sleep in the bed again. I couldn't sleep for years. I had to sleep in a recliner. So don't tell me that certain things don't work, because I tried everything. And no matter what doctor, pain doctor, whatever doctor I went to, they always gave me more drugs. They always gave me another shot and said it'll get better. And it never got better. I had to make it get better. I had to believe that the cannabis was going to help me. And it did. So that's my thoughts on everything, because I agree with these ladies about everything they're saying. How vaccines cause all these issues. Let's take this phone call, please. All right, can we have the phone call, please? Hello, you're on the air. Who is it?
Hi, it's Sherry Petito again.
Go ahead, Jerry. I know you're going to interject something, my dear. Go ahead.
I have to. I'm
love-
listening
I
to you
love
talk,
you.
and everything you're saying I agree with.
I love you too, my
But
dear.
people out there, and I just want the ladies to know, I would have been there tonight, but I'm fasting. I fast every year for a month, okay? And that's what I'm doing. So, but I have to say this to everyone listening. You can cure every disease known to man, every disease through nutrition. Drugs are only for emergency use. God forbid you're in an accident, something. Yes, absolutely. And I have doctors and nurses in my family, and they agree with me. Okay? But to be putting people on all these meds and another med to counteract that side effect and so on and so on and so on infuriates me. Okay? So the pharmaceutical industry will not make money if we are healthy. Okay? They are part of corporate America.
Right.
And I'm probably going to get thrown off for all this, but I don't care anymore because I did 2 shows with Freedom Truth Radio, ladies, and 5 minutes later, one of them was gone forever. All right? And let me just say this to everyone listening out there. Every other country, because I've been all over the world, I've been behind the scenes in every country. They have organic food. They do not allow the crap and the sugar and the garbage that we allowed in our food here. Coca-Cola had to change their formulas. Starbucks had to change their formulas. Okay? They need to keep us sick in order for them to make money.
That's right.
We pay our own health insurance in this country. Most countries pay their people's health insurance, and that's why they keep them healthy. They don't want them sick. Guys, get on board with everything we're saying here. This is not just about vaccines. Okay, your freedom, your rights, your religious exemptions, everything can be gone.
Right.
Then you're going to be living in a communist world, communist country. So thank you, Doc G. Thank you, ladies. I'm furious right now. People need to understand and get on board. Thank you for letting me vent.
Oh,
Thank
you're welcome.
you.
You're welcome, my dear. Anytime.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, bye.
goodbye. Go ahead.
Speaking about
You want to comment on anything I said, you're welcome to do that too.
medications and stuff. I mean, not everybody can take penicillin.
Right.
We all know that.
I'm allergic
but
to
yet
it.
Everybody, vaccines are one size fits all.
Right.
I mean, that's just ludicrous.
Right. Exactly.
And the dosage, the same amount is given to an 8-pound baby that it would be to a grown
Right.
adult.
Yep.
And you talked about cocktails and concoctions and
Yeah.
medications in conjunction with one another. They don't test vaccines in conjunction with each other and
That's
how it affects the
right,
body.
right.
So now when you go to your the well visit, you're going to get MMR, which is 3. You're going to get the DTaP, which is 3. You're going to get an oral polio, a Hep A. We'll throw in a flu shot too. Now you're up to 9 viruses that you just put into your body. And oftentimes, I know on the MMR, when I read that insert, it said not to give within a certain amount of days of something else. So every one of them has their own individual warnings.
Correct.
But no one reads the warnings against each other. They just go by the CDC schedule. And from Robert Kennedy, who had the Freedom of Information Act, where he
Right.
sued the government to find out where are all these safety studies, there are none. They did not do them. After 1986, when they made vaccine companies, they gave them free liability, no more liability. You cannot be sued. They stopped testing the safety.
And they kept adding more and more
Yeah.
vaccines.
Yeah, because-
it's like the fox watching the chicken house.
Yeah. Why? In order. It's like why do I care if you can't sue me anyway?
Right,
I can put
exactly.
anything in,
Yep.
and you're gonna assume that it's good for your kid or for yourself.
There we go.
Same thing with the dog. Same things with animals. I mean,
Yep.
'cause, I just
I
lost my
have,
dog.
I have a medical exemption for my dog, so I feel you.
So this is something that we looked at. So if you, oftentimes you'll see sheets like this. Here, let me pull this Facebook over live so
That's
people can
almost
see.
double.
So,
It's
well,
like-
so oftentimes you, woo! Oh, sorry, guys.
That's okay. It's okay.
I just totally dropped you on the
That's
table.
okay. You're good.
So oftentimes you see things similar to these floating around the internet. And so what we did was we looked specifically from 0 to 2 years, because this is the critical time. Everybody has to be vaccinated before they're 2.
Well,
so,
for the pediatricians get their bonus.
right,
they do.
exactly. So they always push everything before you're 2. So in 1970, from 0 to 2 years, you got 13 doses. 1996, 24.
Right.
2019,
yeah.
37. It just keeps going up. 2000, oh, this was for the adults. This one here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you go, you get your yearly flu shot and your DTaP every 10 years. Are there really any other vaccines for adults that they give? Well, according to the 2020 study, there's going to be 27 doses. Influenza, Tdap, MMR, varicella, zoster, if you're over 50, HPV now, up to age 45, meningococcal, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, pneumococcal, and another meningococcal, and the Hib. The combined ingredients, I just took out just to highlight some of the ingredients that were in the variety of these vaccines from the CDC Pink Book. E. coli, MRC5 human diploid cells, including DNA and protein, polysorbate 80, formaldehyde, fetal bovine serum, chick embryo, aluminum phosphate, aluminum hydroxide, monkey kidney cells, WI38, which is the other aborted fetal cell. It's the diploid, the lung fibrosis. And that's just a couple of them. These are the ingredients.
Yeah, I know, and it's just it's you know it's unbelievable.
You've
when
got
you look
religions
at it.
that wouldn't eat part of these animals.
Well, the human diploid cells are the fetal cells. I
that's
know
just-
that, and that's in Seminex in soda
Exactly.
as well.
And
Yes.
injecting foreign DNA
You're
from
forcing
another
people-
animal or another human into your body. God specifically says not to mix the blood of
Correct.
beast and the blood of man.
Correct.
People with mental disorders and things, right?
Well, that's why the aluminum's there. The aluminum is, you know, and there's a lot of hidden stuff they're not putting out there too. I don't want to get into that, but I was told by a lot of my friends that there's a lot of nanobits and nanobytes that are in there, and we don't even see because they're so microbial and small.
I didn't know if that was the Forrest I knew or not.
No, he's actually a radio host. A lot of my friends are radio hosts. Some are celebrities.
Nice.
So yeah, you'll see some like Tristan Bowden from Chicago. He comes in every now and then. I even had I don't know if you remember John Ford Coley from England. Dan John Ford Coley. He's a good friend of ours. He gets on there. Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees comes on, and Peter, when he was alive, was coming on. So we have a lot of different assorted celebrities, but it's not for the reasons you think. It's just because I'm in entertainment, we intertwine, and then we help each other. He had a book coming out, we help him,
Right.
help him sell his book. And then I just put it this way. A lot of times celebrities will get involved in something because they feel so strongly against it or so strongly for it, right? And a lot of my friends think like I think. Like Sherry Curry, Marie Curry from the Runaways, her sister was from the Runaways in the 70s, is a great friend of mine. And she's always commenting on the stuff I put. There's another person, Allison Kimball, Bobby Kimball from Toto. I mean, everybody heard these bands from the 80s, right? Toto,
Yeah, I've
Africa
heard
and
some
stuff.
of them.
Well, Allison will always comment, when I'm on a live or something. Good stuff, great things. So a lot of people feel like we feel, but like you said, there's no way for them to get their voice
Right.
out. By intertwining with me, they feel that even though they're a celebrity, they're still not, Michael Jackson. They're not Paul McCartney. Nobody notices them. Nobody cares about them. But I always reach them. I said, no, you know what? You're still a celebrity. You were with Chicago for 35 years. Appreciate your music. Appreciate all the hard work you did on tour and everything. What they don't realize is a lot of these people gave up their time, just like you guys do. Gave up their time to go on tour. They stayed away from their families. They stayed away from their wives. And they never get to see their kids grow up. Wrestlers tell me that all the time. Professional wrestlers from the WWE will tell me all the time. We don't even get to see our kids.
I know very well. My stepdad is Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
See, there you go. Look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we had Georgie Animal Steel on. We talked.
saw
We
that.
were actually going to have Jimmy Snuka on one time, but then we had that issues, and then he passed away.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's awesome. That's good news. I mean, at least for me, because as a radio station, I always want to show the people that there's a person behind a character. It's just a character. So like soap opera, right? Watching soap opera, Susan Lucci, right? When she was doing All My Children, it was a character that you fell in love with or didn't like. But everybody, when they got out, either they were nice or they were still mean. It was the person that you fell in love with, not the character. The character was part of what you liked, but when you talk to the person and you got to know them, like I met Danielle Brisbois, Archie Bunker's place, and she was the sweetest person. And what I'm saying is, we can't judge people based on when we hear them or see them in the movies or entertainment. We have to judge them on what they do outside the entertainment. Like Marion Ross, she was on, and she was talking about her books and how she didn't get along with a lot of the cast of Happy Days. But Happy Days was a huge show.
Yeah.
And the real reason why I acquiesce about this is because we don't know the person's true heart. And it only takes one of them to say something, to comment on their page or an influencing page or whatever, to make a comment and say, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
Vaccines hurt people. Anson Williams said that many times. He says vaccines hurt people, and I'm just reaching out to their ability. If they get to see this or hear this, they'll hear their name. They'll know I'm talking to them.
I know last time there was somebody who's on the Housewives of New Jersey who was speaking
Yeah.
out. I don't know. I watched it years ago. I don't know the new characters, but I know somebody was speaking out. They were
Okay.
using their platform, which was
Yeah.
nice to see.
Yeah,
No,
she was.
and that's what we wanted to do. Come off your platform
Yeah.
and speak for us, the people. Speak for us. Tell us your true feelings. Because that's what's going to matter the most, is how people don't know us, right? We just look like average people. But the celebrity is in a different light with them. The sports figure, it is a different light with them. So they may not agree with us, but now if it comes from one of them, they may understand more. Oh, now that celebrity speaking out against it? Now maybe I better believe what they're talking about. See what I'm saying? So we don't know where it's going to go, right? We have about 15 more minutes to sum up everything, guys. So what I want to ask you ladies to do is give me a summary of both scenarios. Let me do this first. If the vote passes and we go to the 13th and it passes again, worst scenario, obviously. If the vote doesn't pass, and what's our step if it does passes? But there's a situation here. There's a doctor. I have to find him. I think Dr. Muggsy knows him, Dr. Sam Muggsy. But there's a doctor that already had put, if you get vaccinated, the vaccine, there's ways for your body's immune system to draw it out. I think it's the carbonate clay. I think it's diatomaceous earth. And I don't know if it might be milk thistle, but I know that I'm just saying, listen, I know that chlorella is a super wall cell blocker, but it's also a great remover. And I know cannabis is because anything radioactive, cannabis is planted around it. It'll suck it up into cannabis, but it won't affect anybody on any human or animal.
Right.
It'll just go through the plant. It's like a filter.
Right.
So if we can just look at that side for a minute, just that side for a minute. But I wanted to hear the worst case scenarios from you and the positive side, and also from you, because I'm looking for the positive side. Go ahead.
She's not going to give you the negative.
No, go ahead.
Well, first of all,
whatever you think.
First of all, I want to say that I think people should not comply. Okay, and I've tried numerous things to heal my daughter, and I don't have her healed. I don't know if she'll ever be independent and be able to take care of herself as an adult. Kathleen's son is 19. She's a holistic nutritionist. She has tried everything. I mean, I was still paying off my credit card bills from the therapies when she was 3. Okay? Like, we try everything. So I am asking people, do not comply. We need to take our power back. And if this is something you truly believe in, you wouldn't want to apply. Okay? So number one, I think that's what's really important for people to know, because if we comply and we take that chance, we play Russian roulette, number one. Number two, they got what they wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll never comply. Worst case scenario, I'll be homeschooling. I don't know how. I don't know. I'm not going to get all the, they have reading specialists. They have so many specialists there, and she's making huge progress. I don't know. I won't comply. I'll figure it out. God will help me.
You'll never give up the fight, is what you're saying.
Oh, I'll never give up the fight, but I'll never comply. I will never get my daughter vaccinated again. I will take her out of school first.
Right.
And then God will help me figure out the rest. Best case scenario, which I like to remain positive.
Focus on that.
I think best case scenario, I think we're going to win. I think that it's power to the people. I think the people are standing up and we're being heard. And people are taking meetings everywhere. Parents are calling their legislators. They're emailing, they're tweeting, they're faxing. I mean, I've heard a lot of these legislators say they've never gotten this amount of calls.
Good.
And New Jersey
Good.
usually...
Keep it up, guys. Keep it up.
New Jersey usually does bring a strong game when we're in this fight, when we're called to our call to actions. But this is a whole new level.
It is.
And everybody's standing up, and I'm remaining positive that we can win. And I honestly believe that in my heart. And, there's positive attracts positive. I'm a firm believer in the power of positive thinking.
We do too.
Pray, send out good vibes to the universe, and guys, we're going to win. We just need you all there for our go days. We're going to do it. And we're going to show all the other states that Jersey don't back down. Jersey is a whole different ball game, and we will not comply. And we're going to keep fighting as long as it takes, because we're mama bears, We're going to do it. And as Trinity says, we're mamas. We don't tire. Like, we're going to keep on
We
going.
carry babies.
Yeah,
we don't tire.
That's right.
Now, Kate, your turn.
Worst case scenario, I homeschool. I figure it out. I wear another hat. I put another hat on, and I do what I need to do for
And
my
I know
family.
you can do everything.
I do it for my family. I do everything for my family. So, best case scenario, I might be homeschooling. Honestly, this has brought a lot to light for me of what my child might face in a system that wants to put him in a box. And my kids my kids will not remain in a box. They will push through it, they will max out of it, and I think that if I want them to grow the way that I think they can, I want to give them the tools to do it. So homeschooling really is teaching to your child with their interests and making the subjects work around their interests. So for me, it might be worse than best case scenario. Quite honestly, I don't know. I just know that I will not comply. We will not comply. We're not backing down. I'm not going anywhere. If I have to leave the state, I will. Absolutely. There is nothing that we will do. And it comes down to priorities. For my family, that's top priority. Yep. If we need to move, if we need to get rid of a car, if we need to redo our budget, if you need to do whatever you need to do to make it work for your family, that's what you need to do. Yes. And if that's what you need to start planning for now, then do it. Save money, put it aside, plan to be out of work for a certain amount of time so that you can get used to it. Homeschool is a lifestyle. It is not just it's happening. Here we are, we're at home. It's totally different. You have to, if you're coming from a school district, you almost have to desensitize yourself, like you deprogram yourself. That's it. You have to deprogram yourself to homeschool because it is so different. And it has a lot of freedom. And it's just, I think people need to look at their priorities if this were to pass. And I think they need to look long and hard at what their priorities are. Their family's health, their finances, their pretty car, their big house, their whatever it is. Extra cars, extra toys, whatever it is. Make the sacrifices that you need to make for your children because they're the ones that are going to carry us on. They're the ones that are going to take care of us.
Yep.
Wow.
We have to protect them.
I love how you put that because, listen, I'm a sensitive guy. Believe me, I cry. She'll tell you, I cry all the time. But that's emotionally. We both homeschooled. We homeschooled both of our girls, and both girls were rough, really rough, because they were ages like 4, was 5, was 8. One was 8.
Like middle school.
Yeah, middle school. But it was hard because they already went through friends and they didn't want to lose their friends and they had other issues. But just to homeschool, I advise all parents to just look into it before you send your kids to school. A couple of people already commented they're going to homeschool their kids. I look at this scenario as, okay, we win, we continue on, we win again, and we just keep winning, right? And the power of the people is what we have. Now, I'm a sensitive guy. I told you that. You know I am. People out there that know me. But when you look at people in general and you see all the things they go through, and she's right, people don't want to give up anything. You don't want to sacrifice anything. We've never taken a vacation since our honeymoon. It's been 20-some years, 28 years. And our kids were always first. Our daughters were always first. We didn't worry about new cars. We didn't worry about anything. Now they're in their 20s. It's a different scenario. But the point is, you sacrifice and do whatever you have to do for your kids. Just like she said, she put it so bluntly and so elegantly that you have to do this for your children. You have to do this for your family. You have to do this in every bone of your body is telling you to do it, do it. Call your senators, call your congressmen, call the assembly, call the people. Call them now. You can call them all night. You can call them 24 hours a day. Burn their phones up. Leave messages. Let them know that you're going to be there tomorrow. Yeah. And you're going to be watching what they do. And you're going to be looking at everybody there. And you're going to be coinciding and working together with other people that are there because you're tired of the government and people pushing you around because of other people in other corporations think they can put money in their pocket and run your life. This is your life, and my life, and her life, and her life, and my wife's life. And how dare you think that you can control it over profit? And you don't ever have any safety standards. You don't have any guidelines. You don't have any constitution at all. There's no constitutional lawyers that can help us, follow us, and guide us. And one more thing. Why am I the only media outlet doing this? How come there's no other radio stations doing this with me? Where are you? Where are you? Where are the TV stations following this? Where are the people that could share this on their networks and other formats and Twitter and everywhere? And they have friends that are congressmen, they have friends that are assemblymen, they have people all over the place. How come you're not sharing it? I don't care about the competitiveness. This is our United States. This is our Jersey, New Jersey. If I had to get Bruce Springsteen on here himself, I would. If I had to get John Bon Jovi on here, I would. But here's the thing. The vote is up to you. The protest is up to you. All I'm going to leave you with is we have to do this. As a state, we have to do this as a people, and we have to stop whatever's going on now. Let's do this. Forcing parents to choose between their God and their children's education is tyranny. And that was by M. Fisher. And this is not tyranny. We're looking at medical kidnapping. We're looking at kids being taken away from their parents. I've talked about that many times on Taking Back Our Country. We've talked to people about that. It's not a good life when you lose your kid and you think you're doing what's right and the government comes in and takes them from you. So think about all these things I'm saying to you because I'm saying it from my heart, the bottom of my heart. Thank you. One more. We got one more phone call, guys, and then we're going to end the show. Who's on the air?
Hi. I just wanted to say, fuck you and hail Satan.
Oh, okay.
That's lovely.
Okay, well, we always get them people,
pray
but
for
you know
you.
what? We'll pray, right.
Yes,
we'll
we'll
pray for you.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you all for being here, guys. Thank you, Kate. Thank you,
Thank you.
Bridget.
Thank you for having
Thank you,
us.
Sandy, for being here. And hopefully next time, if we have to do this again, we're going to have an audience of 20 or 30 people in front of us, and we want questions. We want you to ask the questions. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thanks.
We're done.